Hopefully you've seen my other videos where I took you through the Makita 12 volt stuff that I have and the rigid 12 volt stuff that I have. And in those videos I talked about what I liked about each one, how I've used them, where I think they fit, and what they can do for you. Basically, I'm a Makita guy. Most of my battery stuff is Makita. I own a fair amount of rigid stuff as well. Use their oscillating spindle sander, their shop vacs, their rolling tool storage pack out system, and a few other rigid tools. So I really like both brands. Okay, never had a problem with either brand. But being 18 volt only, and doing what I do in remodeling and cabinet making, furniture making, I had a need for smaller tools that still had plenty of power, but yet I could get into tighter places inside of cabinets, you know, putting on hinges, putting on drawer slides, you know, screwing drywall, the support for drywall in a remodel job, working in between, you know, 16-inch studs to run some electrical, move some plumbing, do that kind of stuff. So I started investigating 12 volt systems here probably about 6 months ago. And about 3 months ago, I bought the Makita drill driver set. And a week later, I went out and I bought the rigid drill driver set because I wanted one set for the shop, one set to take on site. So I've used them both now for 3.5 months, 4 months, something like that. And kind of put them through their paces. And I talk about that in more detail on the individual videos. So I'm just going to kind of summarize that here for you. But to me, when I buy tools, there are certain things that I look for. One of them, and to me probably one of the most important ones, is ergonomics. How does that tool feel in my hand? How does it feel when I've used it all day? Does it fit my hand? As I've said in my other videos, short, stubby fingers. So for me, grabbing a grip, if it's a big grip, then that is an issue for me. All right? It just makes my hand more tired. I got to work harder. It's just not as comfortable. So the grip, the balance, the ergonomics, the overmold, is it grippy? Does it feel good in your hand? So that's one of the things that's really important to me. Quality is right up there with ergonomics. You know, if I'm going to pay good money for a tool, which I don't mind doing, I'll pay good money for tools, but I want them to work and I want them to last. If they do that, you know, I'll pay you a fair price for them. But price comes in third for me because I will pay a little extra to get better ergonomics, to get better quality. So price is not usually my deciding factor on these things. I look at other things as well. Okay, so I started off with the Makita set, drill driver. A week later I got the rigid set. The Makitas have got a bigger system. There's 13 total tools in the Makita 12 volt system. Rigid only has these two plus the palm driver. And I just saw an oscillating 12 volt tool from Rigid in the local Home Depot that just came out. So Rigid's, you know, trying to catch up here, but they're not quite to where Makita is, and Makita actually is behind Milwaukee. Milwaukee's got a very complete line of 12 volt tools. So that's one of the things to look at is your system and what tools you're going to need. But I got the drill driver first, and then I picked up the recip saw, and then I picked up the oscillating tool. And the oscillating tool and the recip saw have quickly become two of my favorite tools. They're small, they're lightweight. When I'm working in a wall, when I'm changing out plumbing, I got to take out, you know, old PVC pipe, and I got to get in between the rafters, I got to get in between the studs. These smaller tools just fit. They fit better, they're lighter weight. You can get them into your positions that you can't get the big 18 volt tools into. So it makes your work faster, more efficient, and it's easier on your hands, your arms, and your wrist. So I really, really like these tools. There's a couple more tools I'm going to add from Makita in their 12 volt line. I'm going to get the jigsaw, and I'm going to get their little circular saw, 3.5-inch circular saw, and that should about fill out the needs that I have for 12 volt battery powered tools. Rigid doesn't have quite the selection. They've got the drill driver, they've got the palm impact, which I'm going to add because that is very small and compact, and that can get into places that I can't get with even these small guys. And I did just see in my local Home Depot a 12 volt oscillating tool from Rigid, so that's coming. It just hit our stores. I haven't seen it online yet, but I did see it in the store, live in the field, so it's coming. So let's talk differences between the two of them. Start with the small stuff. With the Rigid, comes with a very basic bag. Will hold your battery, your charger, your drill, your driver, and that's about it. Makita went a little bit farther. They actually give you a useful bag. This bag has a lot of compartments, a lot of storage in it, so if you're one of these guys that's going in, you do a lot of door installs, you do a lot of light fixture installs, ceiling fans, a lot of handyman home improvement kind of stuff, you can actually put some additional tools in here and go in with one bag in a pretty light kit and accomplish a lot of tasks. So you may not be a bag guy. I don't use my bags. I use the Rigid rolling tool system, so that works better for me. But if you like bags, you're going to get a little bit better bag with the Makitas. Okay, the Makitas are smaller. If you take a look at these two, and we'll put them up to the camera here, the Makita is not as wide, it's not as long. Get the right tools. It's not as wide, it's a little bit longer, and it weighs almost a pound less. So in your ergonomics discussion, that's one of the big things, is the weight. You're 2.3 pounds, 2.4 pounds, and with these guys, I think you're up over 3. I'd have to look it up to be specific here. But there's definitely a feel difference. The Rigids are heavier, okay? Battery choices affect your ergonomics. The Makitas, slide style battery. What that does for you is that can make your handle, you don't have to accommodate a larger battery. So that means your handle's smaller. For somebody like me with short fingers, that makes a difference. I have to work a little harder to grip this Rigid tool than I do the Makita. The Makita is just smaller, it fits my hand better, and it weighs less. But the overmold on the Rigid, I like better. It's a little more grippy, and for a slide-in battery into the grip, this is the first one that I've found that's actually pretty comfortable for my hands. It actually works really well, and I enjoy using it. The Milwaukees are just too big. They're just too big and bulky and boxy for me. So, ergonomics is a personal thing. You got to get the tool that works for you and fits what you're doing. So put them in your hands, try them out. The Makita's lightweight, smaller. It's a good overmold, not quite as grippy as the Rigids. They both have LED lights on them. They both work pretty well. The torque specs on these guys, when your impact drivers, you're 900 inch-pounds on the Makita, 1100 on the Rigid, 250 on the drill driver for the Makita, 400 for the Rigid. And if you go watch the individual videos I did on these guys, where I did a couple of holes with 3/4 inch paddle bit, that Rigid's extra power showed up. I mean, it just does. It gets through that 2x4 a little quicker, a little faster, a little easier. Makita was no slouch, it got it done, but you definitely get a little bit more power out of the Rigid. Okay, Rigid batteries are a shade more expensive than the Makitas. The 4 amp hour battery is $64 at Home Depot, whereas for the Rigid it's like $74, and my local Home Depot doesn't even carry them, so I got to order them. So if it's something you might need to go grab on the run, you're only going to get the 2 amp hour battery. So product support, what you can get in the store when you're out on the job and you got to get something done, that's just something to consider. Okay, battery charger for the Makita is a little bit smaller than the Rigid, but not enough to really make a difference. So bottom line for me up front with these guys is Um, I like both of these sets of tools for different reasons. When it comes to ergonomics, one of the big things that I really love about these, and I think this is kind of why I've kind of gravitated towards the rigid, even though they're a little bit bigger, a little harder to hold in my hand, the overmold grip feels great. It's a little heavier. I really appreciate the Makita, the lightweight of the Makita, but this belt clip, and you think that's just something really silly and small, but it makes a difference. With the rigid here, when I hang this on my pocket, the weight's distributed. So moving around when I get up and down on the floor as I'm doing other tasks, this stays place. The Makita stays place as well, but with the the pocket clip clear down here, it rocks a lot more. You've got a lot more movement, banging into your leg, banging into stuff. And if you're working inside a customer's home, or you want to make sure that you're not doing damage to anything in that customer's house, this makes a lot more sense for me in the way that I work. I really enjoy just having that belt clip in that position. It makes a big difference for me. I can get up and down and work with these on my pocket, and they just stay more secure and they feel better. So overall, I'm not here to pick a winner and say one system's better than the other, because it's going to depend upon you, what you do with the tools, how the ergonomics fit you. They're both quality systems. You get more choices with the Makita. You get what I think is a better battery system. The 4 amp hour battery on the rigid's nice and wide. You can stand the tool up. The 2 amp hour, not so much. It'll flop over on you. So, I like the wider battery on the bottom, the lighter weight, the smaller grip on the tool. They both get the work done. The rigids do have a little bit more power. So you're not going to go wrong with either one. But I think the Makita, with the system it has, can really fill out a lot of needs for a lot of guys doing things similar to what I do. Remodeling, contracting, general contracting, cabinet making, that kind of stuff. The full line of Makita just has more options for me, and that makes it a better fit for what I do. But these rigids are what I grab for my day-to-day, everyday kind of stuff. So they're not going anywhere. I'm going to use them, and hopefully their line's going to grow. And one day that may change. One day they may have the tools to, compete with Makita in Milwaukee. Milwaukee is got the biggest 12-volt system, and I'm a big Milwaukee fan. They make great tools, but they're just too big and boxy, and just the ergonomics just are not anywhere near as good as the Makita. And the rigid's got better ergonomics. So I know there's a lot of Milwaukee guys out there who are going to send me a lot of hate mail. I love my Milwaukee. It's great. They are. They're great tools, and if they work for you, that's what's important. And that's the thing, is you got to get the tools that work for you and make your job more efficient and easier on your body. Okay? Construction and contracting is not an easy living for people. We need to take care of ourselves, and the tools that we use play a big part in that. How loud they are, how much they weigh, how ergonomic they are to use, because we get into odd positions, cutting stuff overhead. We work above our heads quite a bit. So that weight and the grip makes a lot of difference. So go out, take a look. If you don't have 12 volt in your system, if you're just 18 volt only, it's time. The battery technology and the motor technology has come so far that 12 volt is actually a viable option for a lot of the tasks that we do. And I'm finding that for most of my general daily stuff, the 12 volts what I'm grabbing, and it's getting the job done. My bigger 18 volt stuff gets brought out when it's necessary, but I don't need to lug around that weight. And the bigger batteries, the bigger tools, these get into a lot more places I can't get with the 18s, and they get the work done. So it makes me more efficient in what I do. So if you like this video, guys, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Got a lot of good content coming up. Ring the bell. That way you get notified of new videos. Share this video with your friends, your dog, your mom, your dad, your neighbor, even people you don't know. Say, hey, go check out this video. And drop me a comment. We love to hear from you guys. We want to hear what you think, what systems you're using, how you're using them, what works for you, what doesn't, what did I miss, Are there things that I should be thinking about that maybe I haven't run into yet? So drop me a comment, share something with me. Look forward to it. Thanks for watching, guys.